Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current cultural and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello, hello. All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate your time. Tip of the day for today is your country's greatest asset has always been and will always be you. I have framed this so many times for my audience. The way the culture is designed, the way it manifests naturally, and you can't do it unnatural. They've tried. The way it works, psychological, then sociological, then cultural. With the overriding, if you are religious, would be spiritual. Okay. Whether you are religious or not, let's be real, it's going to be that. But your country's greatest asset, therefore, has always and will always be you, the individual you. Right? You put enough you together, you, your neighbor, your friends, and next thing you know, guess what? We have ourselves a country. Okay, so it's always going to be you. If I, as a counselor, wanted to control you, I'm going to tell you today how I would do that. Yeah. Okay, Nick, I'm going to teach you how I would manipulate you if I wanted to control you and not create freedom for you, but to control you. And the reason I want to do this is because, as most of you know, we have an upcoming event in just another day or so from now that you are going to be told what you are supposed to think, not told how to think. You're going to be told what to think when Joe Biden and Donald Trump face off at this show that we call a debate. And I say it's a show because look at it. It's already being drawn up as a show, right? CNN's host, what's her name? Casey something or another. She's already setting the stage for real neutral mediation of an event. They are definitely setting the stage for Jake Tapper to be neutral. No, they're not. And here's the thing. I don't really care because I'm going to show you today, or if you listen to me, you're going to learn today how to think for yourselves. That's right. I'm gonna teach you the psychological aspect of how to think for yourself. Now, some of you are going to say, well, that's just you manipulating us. Look, put on whatever glasses you want. If you put on the I'm a Donald Trump fan glasses, well, then you're going to see how Donald Trump is a success. If you put on the I'm a Joe Biden fan glasses, you're going to see how Joe Biden was a success. Now, the way you're going to do it is usually by hating the other person. Why? They design it that way. That's correct. The tip of the day, your country's greatest asset is you. It makes you the greatest threat. It makes you the greatest threat. And they have to tell you in what way you are the greatest threat. You, right? And you being open-minded, you being a thinker for yourself is the last thing they want. They do not want people to take their names off of the Democrat or the Republican Party and go independent. That scares the living jeepers out of them. All of them. Every one of them, because you are the greatest threat. It used to be said that the independents were the ones who really didn't invest in politics much. I am betting, based on what I'm hearing, that that's shifting. I am betting that that is shifting. Because more and more I see people and talk to people and encounter people who say, I can't get behind Donald Trump. I can't get behind Joe Biden, but what am I to do? So they're getting out of the parties. The people tell me this. Yeah, I'm not a political podcast per se, although politics is a subsect of culture. So what I'm going to tell you is how I would control you if I had no morality at all. None. I'll tell you how I would control you. The first thing I would do is convince you that you're a victim. And then I would teach you how you being a victim is just like me being a victim. And I am going to stand up and do something different. Then I could control you. Okay, let me repeat that. I would first teach you that you're the victim, not that you have any resemblance of control. Then I insert myself as the hero. And I say, if you stick with me, you'll never be hungry again. And I will lead you to a disaster. That's what I would do if I was trying to control you. But that isn't what we do here at Healthy Perspectives. What we do at Healthy Perspectives is help you learn how to think for yourself. I do not for 1 second believe that I'm going to influence you to be a Democrat or a Republican, to vote for Trump or Biden. They're both crappy options, if I'm being completely honest. Is one worse than the other? Maybe. Is one better than the other? Maybe. But at the end of the day, they don't even care. They are using this manipulation tactic that I just showed you in order to influence you. So here's what I suggest as a possibility. During this debate, the debate that we're having on the 27th, what I would say is look through this lens. The lens that I would suggest to you is an empowerment lens, one that says you are important and your decision matters. Now, I know a whole bunch of you just now went, but it doesn't matter. It's one vote. I hear you. I hear you clearly. And if you continue to think like that, which is what they want you to think, you're the victim. Here's the thing. They want you to think that your vote doesn't matter so that you don't vote for the other party. Right? It incentivizes them to control, manipulate their base by convincing them that they are victims and that I will be your hero. The Democrat Party, the Republican Party, Joe Biden, Donald Trump. That's their incentive, because if they could get your vote, that benefits them. But if they can't do that, they want you to quit so that your vote can't be cast against them. Make sense? Okay. So with the framework of this debate that's coming up, here's my suggestion. Do what you want. I'm not telling you what you have to think. I'm giving you an idea that could help you see some things maybe a little bit more clearly. This whole victim thing that they want you to believe, because they both want you to believe that you're the victim and that they get to be your hero. Many times because they've been the victim just like you, or because they stood for the victims just like you. Right? Like that's their tactics. That's their approaches. Because the real threat is them deciding for you. So if I'm going to encourage you to not have the decision made for you, my goal as somebody with healthy perspectives, anything that I can do to open your mind to maybe, just maybe, something will be made clear. The first thing I have to do is I have to hound you on this, because this is the most important thing. You have to understand that you are not the victim. You do not need a hero. As a counselor, people come to me because they want me to solve their problems. And one of the first things I teach them is that it's not my job to solve your problem. I don't have to live your life. You have to solve your problems. Then you're thinking, well, then why do they go to counseling? I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times people can't see themselves as people who are capable. They end up in this spot where they truly believe that without somebody else doing it for them, that they will be the victim. They're believing the lie. They come to me usually, most of them come to me for two reasons: to remind them they are not the victim and that they can make their own decisions and they can do it well. All we have to do is look at intentionality. And the other thing they come to me for, ideas. Sometimes when we get stuck, we need somebody to just sort of give us a little boost of not hero behavior, but to give us a boost of, here's some ideas, some options. Because the thinking process psychologically can get sort of stuck. It's like, you get the wheel stuck in the ditch in the snow, you're not getting out easily. It's not going to be an easy trek to get out. And sometimes you just need somebody there to say, okay, let's step back. Let's take a look. If you could see this from here, what might the solutions be? You come up with a few solutions. Maybe I throw in a couple of ideas because I don't make the decision. Why? It's not my life. It's your life. So I make recommendations, you make decisions, you try it out, it works, you're like, haha, I just saved myself. And all of a sudden, this victim concept disappears. So when you approach this debate, every time either one of them tells you that they are the hero, put a little check mark next to it. I'm serious, just tally them. Every time they tell you you are the victim, put a little check mark in a box. Like I just tally it. Tally how many times they told you they are your hero and you are the victim. The reason I'd like you to do that, contrast. Just to keep track of what they want you to believe. Every time Biden says, I am going to save democracy, check in the hero category. Oh, he really wants to be the hero. Every time they say the border is the crisis and you will all be in danger, check. They want me to be the victim. Because let's be real. I haven't said this yet, and I'm sure this will go over like a lead balloon. But if you're a citizen of the United States, you legally, and you don't have a felony, you're not a felon, you can legally own a gun. And somebody comes into your home, I mean, game on, my friend, right? So how dangerous is somebody who illegally crosses the border? Now, I'm not saying that we don't want to pay attention to these things. but we also don't have to be waiting for our government to do their job when our government is not doing their job. We don't. I'm not suggesting that you be mean or you be violent. I would never suggest that as the best option because it's the last option. But I can tell you, if people don't behave in my presence with some social dignity, well, I also don't have to stand there and take it. And neither do you, because you're not a victim, and neither am I. I'm not the hero, not looking to be the hero. Chesty Puller, a good old Marine Corps spirit would tell you, nobody wants to be the victim or the hero. They don't. They're prepared to do their job. And if freedom is what you want, if a democratic republic is what you want, then you still are the biggest threat to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. You. Because you could always, today, tomorrow, every time you go to the ballot, every single time, you could make your decision. You could say, I am not voting for this guy. Matter of fact, you and your friends could choose to rise up, create a third, a fourth, a fifth party. And if you created a more viable option than one that is in front of us, it could succeed. Because you have that power, not them. If enough people leave the Democratic Party, if enough people leave the Republican Party, then politics has to change. It's not optional. You're like, well, they have all the money, they have all the power, they have all the this and that. I hear you. The one thing that you would be wrong about is they have the power. They only have that power because you give it to them. So when you watch this debate and you tally up how many times you're told you're the victim and how many times you are told that they can be your hero, I want you to ask yourself, do you need a hero? Are you actually the victim they are telling you that you are? Well, I live in the ghetto. Okay. I can't afford to leave the ghetto. Okay. You can stay the victim. That's an option. I I'm not a fan of politics, so I'm just not going to follow. Okay. You just be the blind victim. That's a choice you can make. I'm not telling you you can't make it. I'm just saying when you watch the debate, I recommend you do something different. And the thing that you can do different, don't accept that you need a hero. Be your own advocate. Don't accept that you are the victim. Rescue yourself. You fall overboard? Well, swim as long as you can. Float as long as you can. And who knows? Maybe if enough people would stop being the victim and stop needing the hero, we might have a different outcome. We might become a strong nation again. I think back to, my own story and my grandfather who served in 3 freaking wars, World War II, Vietnam, and Korea. served in 3 wars. And you think you're the victim? Are you for real? Like, you can do better. My ask of you is a psychological, sociological, cultural ask. Influence the piece that you can. And the piece that you can influence is you. You could do something different. You could open your eyes and your mind. That's an option you always have. No matter where you live, no matter where you're from, no matter anything, you can open your eyes and open your mind. And as you feel things like hatred, I just had this dialogue with somebody on TikTok that got clearly, from my vantage point, has Trump derangement syndrome. Because all the dude can talk about is how much he hates Trump. Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump did this, Trump did that. I'm voting Biden. Okay. If you want to fill your heart with hate, you will be blind. Period. Do I hate Biden? No. Do I hate Trump? No. Do they both have major flaws? Absolutely. But I'm not going to be the victim to either one of them. I'm going to stand on my own 2 legs, and I'm going to influence the small circle that I can influence, but not from hatred, because hatred is blinding. Nope. Open mind. I'm not the victim. I don't need a hero. I'm going to look for a reasonable leader who can take the next steps based on what we need and based on my vantage point. Will I get it right every time? Nope. Will I get it wrong every time? Nope. And I would rather make the decision myself. My brother, when I was young, he said something. I said something about, like, why are you going in the Marine Corps? And he said something along the lines of, at the end of the day, I realized it's my life. And if I fail, I want it to be my failure. And if I succeed, I want it to be my success. In other words, he was telling us, you and me today, what he says when he says stuff like that is you have to make a decision. And a non-decision is a decision. You just got to figure out what your decision is going to be. And you have to own it, whether it works or it doesn't. I hope this was helpful when you go to listen to the debate. I hope that you think about some of the things that I've stated here. It could be potentially very helpful at helping you frame the debate in a way that might be healthy. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, you are the greatest asset to the country. You, because you can influence culture one person at a time. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.